Have you ever had a gut feeling that you just couldn't ignore? Maybe you thought of an old friend and suddenly they called you out of the blue, or perhaps you felt compelled to take a different route home, only to discover later that you avoided a massive traffic jam. All of us have experienced those uncanny moments when something deep inside us seems to guide us, even if we can't quite explain it or put words to it. In part 9 of this modernization of Thomas Troward's Edinburgh lectures on mental science, we explored causes and conditions. We uncovered how the thoughts that we nurture, the causes, shape the reality we experience, the conditions empowering us to become initiators of change rather than mere reactors to life's circumstances. It's kind of like realizing you're not just a passenger in life, right? Like you actually have your hands on the steering wheel. You get a say in what unfolds. Now, in part 10, we're delving into the profound realm of intuition, where we'll examine how that inner voice, the gentle whisper from God, can lead us toward our highest good. By learning to recognize and trust our intuition, we strengthen that connection to the divine, accessing wisdom that transcends logic and reason. So are you ready to tune into this inner guidance system and let it illuminate your path? Let's embark on this journey to discover how embracing our intuition can transform not just our decisions, but our entire life's trajectory. We've previously discussed how your subconscious mind, the subjective mind, takes cues from your conscious mind or objective mind. Remember, the subjective mind also communicates back to the objective mind. You can kind of think of it as your inner compass guided by God, pointing you to the right direction, even though you may not be sure which path is clear or which path you're supposed to go down. Your subjective mind is essentially your deepest self, right? It's the foundation of your individuality, and its primary concern is preserving and nurturing that uniqueness that is you. Since it's connected to the divine spirit, it exists on a plane where time and space don't limit perception, a continual present where all things are known. Because of this profound connection, your inner self can inform your conscious mind about matters beyond your immediate awareness, whether they're distant events or future happenings. It's kind of like receiving wisdom from God that transcends our usual understanding of time and space. If our inner spirit has access to such boundless knowledge, you might wonder, naturally, why doesn't it constantly keep our conscious mind up to date? Well, the reason is that our objective mind often isn't attuned to receive these subtle messages. Developing this awareness is one of the goals of spiritual practices and mental science in particular. When we realize that our subjective mind is sustained by divine spirit, we understand that many of our intuitive thoughts are actually guidance from God, gently nudging us in the right direction for the greatest possible good. Now, there are times when, perhaps due to pressing circumstances or, moments of clarity, our conscious mind becomes more aligned with our inner self. And in these moments, the inner voice, the voice of God within, speaks more clearly and persistently. And, when this happens, it's wise to listen. You may have experienced times when you just knew something without knowing how you knew it. These are instances when the divine is communicating directly to you, and the importance of understanding and following your intuition, it can't be overstated, right? For it's through this faculty that we receive guidance from God. However, it can be challenging to discern between true spiritual insight and mere whims or fancies. And perhaps the best way to navigate this is through personal experience and a sincere desire for truth, really a sincere desire to cultivate your intuition, because it's a skill set no different than really any other skill set. You can get better at tuning in and listening and following to that inner voice of wisdom. And the more you do this over time, right, you start to develop an inner sense that just helps you distinguish genuine divine guidance from distractions. And this sensitivity grows as you recognize God as the source of this inner wisdom, which brings us to a great reflection point. Think of a moment when you felt an inner prompting or gut feeling about a situation or decision. Did you follow this intuition, or did you dismiss it in favor of logical reasoning or external advice from friends or family? Think about this outcome. Consider how recognizing and trusting this inner voice, the gentle guidance of God, might impact your future choices. What steps can you take to become more attuned to your intuition and integrate this divine wisdom into your daily life? From my own experiences, I've noticed a few principles I'll share. First, when everything seems to point logically towards a particular decision, but you still have a persistent feeling that you shouldn't proceed, it's often because your inner guidance, God's wisdom within you, knows something your conscious mind does not. Second, your initial impression or gut feeling is usually aligned with divine guidance. Before your conscious mind starts analyzing and doubting, that first feeling is like a clear reflection of God's will in your heart. Once you begin to overthink, that clarity can become clouded. Because this initial intuition can fade quickly, you'll start to find it's important to note it and reflect upon it before your objective mind takes over. And later you can weigh it against the arguments your conscious mind presents. And while it's impossible to create strict rules for such personal and spiritual processes, perhaps the best approach is to see intuition as part of the law of attraction, especially when you understand how this law interacts with the divine spirit present within each of us. So when you feel that inner prompting, I would encourage you to not dismiss it. Recognize it as the gentle voice of God guiding you toward your highest good. Make it a desire to cultivate this connection to your intuition, and maybe even experiment giving more control to that voice of intuition. And whether it be good nor bad, at the end of the day, you'll start to notice, which of those decisions really came from that inner voice of wisdom, and maybe which of those decisions kind of started to become clouded and mixed in to give you a better distinction, right, moving forward. But as a student of mental science, it's important to spend time cultivating the sacred gift of intuition, which again, I want to emphasize is something that you can tune deeper into, just like a radio. You can dial the knob on a radio and tune into a certain signal. You can get a clearer and clearer signal the more you fine tune and listen to your intuition and get experience of, the differences between the voice of intuition and those voices that sometimes can get disguised as that, but are just actually of the objective, the conscious mind. Now that we've explored the profound role of intuition in our lives, we've learned how tuning into this inner voice, right, the gentle guidance from God within, can lead us towards our highest good. By recognizing and trusting our intuition, we strengthen our connection with the divine, accessing wisdom that transcends logic and reason. We've seen that this inner guidance isn't just a fleeting feeling, but a vital aspect of our spiritual journey, helping us navigate life's complexities with confidence and clarity. But our exploration doesn't stop here. While embracing our intuition is transformative, there's another crucial aspect to consider, and that is the power of healing that arises from understanding and applying the principles we've been discussing. Have you ever wondered how your thoughts and beliefs influence your physical well-being, or how by aligning your mind with divine principles that can lead you to profound healing, both mentally and physically? Well, in part 11, Healing, we'll dive deep into the essential facet of our being and explore how our beliefs act as causes that manifest as conditions in our health, and how by changing these beliefs we can initiate healing at the deepest of levels. We'll uncover universal principles common to various methods of mental healing like Reiki, learning how to align ourselves with higher laws of nature to bring about positive change. Get ready to discover how understanding and applying these principles can transform not just your health, but your entire approach to life, enabling you to live more fully in alignment with your highest potential in all aspects. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to dive even deeper into the mastery of mental science, go to betterthought.com and subscribe to my newsletter. Not only will you find bonus material to complement what you just learned, but you'll be notified as soon as the next video in this series is released. So go to betterthought.com now and subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Until next time, Godspeed.